Greetings and welcome everyone to an all-you-can-geek bonus round for Fantastic Four. It's a Spoilercast, folks. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Corey Feinsod.
Yes, I'm here. I was
And
not expecting to be called out. I was like, wait, oh shoot, it's me.
yeah, and Tony Korkodakis.
Tis the clobbering hour, gentlemen.
It's the clock.
The cost was too high.
That meme I had last night. I don't know what hit me. That hit me when I posted in Discord with Tobey Maguire, but Spider-Man. But anyways, yeah. So this is for Fantastic Four. For those wondering, Marvel's movie that's in the theaters right now. So if you haven't seen this movie, we do spoiler cast, so we do talk freely about this stuff. So I don't know if you want to watch this yet. You want to probably wait to go see it. We all had not really differing opinions. I think Tony and I were kind of in the similar idea. Whether it was a pretty good movie. Corey was meh, but I think you're burnt out on a lot of superhero films right now. We'll talk about that shortly. I want to hear some feedback of what you thought. But once again, folks, warning here. This last warning, we are going to talk spoilers, so just leave if you don't want to hear it. All right, that's it. Let's get kicked off, guys. Yeah, so this movie...
different Earth 828.
Yeah, it's a new Earth for them. It's a 60s futuresque, modern 60s vibe, like central, modern 60s vibe kind of thing. Best way is futuristic 60s. Thank you.
Like so Jetsons.
Yeah, that's what it had that vibe of. And, it had that still like a 50s also mix with it, like the family thing and the dinners and stuff like that. So I don't know. But yeah, so this movie, I think, in my opinion, just overall, like I'm not giving you overall impressions at the end, but like I feel like this is a great first step for a Fantastic Four movie. And yeah, let's get right on into it. Corey, I'm very interested. Like, I personally, guys, I actually liked, and I can finally talk about this. I actually liked the way this movie kicked off. It gave us, this was better than Superman in the way it kicked off. Like, this was I liked its review, even though we know the story for Fantastic Four. This gave us that review rundown, and it kind of brought the story, like, cohesion. You know what I mean? Like, it made, unlike Superman, where it just kind of like
gave you context for who these people are and why people love them, because it does something similar here, right? It's we're starting a film. This is the first of its franchise here, Superman and Fantastic Four. And these are different movies, but it's easy to compare them because they're doing similar things, right? This movie is also about superheroes or superhero, and it's taking place after people know about them. They've come out, they've done a lot of things, they've been popular, and they've saved a lot of people. But here, they give you context to why people love them, and it makes you feel like you're not like just jumping in. Like, what did this guy do? Like, why do we like this guy? Like, he's done nothing. We get a string of like highlights. Like, they're just like
montage.
Check it off. It's like
montage, which is what I feel like. That's what Superman needed.
Yeah. So we're getting all these like these feats that these superheroes have completed and saved people from, or saved the city, or saved whatever, and now we feel like, oh, these are superheroes. They're saving the day. We understand.
Right, we understand.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to start off real quick. There are so many parallels between Superman 2025 and Fantastic Four. Starting off with the intro, because Superman's like, 3 years after Superman came out, and Fantastic Four is like 4 years after they came out. I was like in the theater, I'm like, okay, that's weird. That's coincidence, I guess. I chalk it up to that, but we'll go on with it a little bit more. But I was like, what? I was like, okay,
yeah. So we have their feats where they actually talk about. We get the little Mole Man intro here. We get some other. I forget the other big villain. It was like the slime thing. I forget what that was called. But I guess it was a famous like Fantastic Four like villain.
They were definitely knocking off a bunch of the Fantastic Four's rogues gallery.
Yeah, and we get a little Sue Storm with that she's actually like a independent person, like negotiating peace. And for the we find out there's an underworld. What's it called? Interworld? I don't know what they call it. Subterranea. But so we find that out a little bit in the universe. That's what I'm saying. Like, we got a ton of information in like 10 minutes in this movie. This movie was still only like 2 hours long, and it was under 2 hours. I'm sorry, it was an hour and like 54. And we got a ton of information. They did a great job of bringing us into this new world. For a new world, I think they did a great job, and that's ultimately why like this movie just was a lot more like I'm not trying to compare it to Superman, but it's very easy to. I thought it just was a lot more understandable. I thought it was an easier to follow film, and I don't know. And visually, I think it looked great. I love the style. I just love the style of this movie. But so we have this intro of the characters. Then we quickly find out that Sue is expecting with their family dinner. That kind of kicks off your story, right? I mean, I'm not skipping through much here, right? We did the diplomacy, then the baby expecting thing.
We learned that, like you had mentioned last week, Tony, how Mr. Fantastic and his awkward like genius instead of that cocky genius, right? It's like you see that right away with him like trying to figure out what bottles he's trying to get, and like he's getting a little frustrated or flustered.
Like, just give me 1 minute and I'll be
Yep. And so we see that, and then we learn that they were trying to have kids, but it didn't work out for them until now.
So the world prepares for the new arrival.
Which is that's another interesting thing. I would say it's like, oh hey, superheroes having kids. This is something to celebrate with everyone.
They're heroes of the world, so they cheer them on. Like they're their heroes. There's nobody else in this world. There's just the Fantastic Four, which is interesting for the Marvel Universe now. We've not had that, where they're just by themselves. We used to, remember, but not anymore. But yeah, so then I know the big question was about, will this baby have superpowers? And Reed just couldn't let that go. You got to see a little bit about Reed Richards and the way he was dealing with things about studying, and he can't turn his brain off. Yeah, that.
And honestly, this is the part that I love the most about this movie. I'll get into the other like more obvious action or whatever, but like the part I think they really nailed for me was giving a lot of the characters, with maybe the exception of Ben, aka the Thing. I feel all the other characters had a lot of nuance to them and places where I'm like, I'm actually caring and invested them a little bit now, because like honestly, I never cared for Fantastic Four, whether it was the cartoon, whether it was the other movies, or even in the comics. I'm just like, okay, whatever. They're there. I know their powers. They are a staple, but I don't know why. Like it didn't interest me. But like seeing Reed now, where he's like throughout the movie, to get into it, like he's just kind of obsessed, right? Where he's like, I got to figure out my baby's powers, right? And I'm going to jump ahead here. We don't have to focus on.
Go ahead.
But one of my favorite parts of this movie, where he's talking to his son, his baby, just alone, and he's like, I'm going to stop trying to figure out who you are, and I'm going to let you show me who you are, right?
Yeah. Right.
And I was just like, wow, like that
because
is
the whole time he's like the opposite. And he finally flips that switch.
Right. And for me, I was like, holy shit, that came out of a Marvel movie. Like, I don't expect that, right? And I'm not even a father or anything like that, but I'm just like thinking about the relationship I had with my father and stuff like that. I'm like, wow, that's really powerful. Like, in my opinion, I'm just speaking from the eye here. I'm not expecting anybody else. But no,
absolutely.
I thought it was fantastic, right? So
yeah, no, yeah, I know we get to learn a lot about him, but I would like to say right now, like, we have this introduction here of Silver Surfer coming to Earth is the next big step here, where the Silver Surfer, a female Silver Surfer, what's her name, Bala, whatever her name is, which was controversial online for people, but I thought this character was awesome. I thought she did a fantastic job. She heralded Galactus here coming to the planet, that the planet has been marked for destruction. We get a little Johnny Storm.
What's her name?
Yeah, Shala Ball. We get a little Johnny Storm action here with, him trying to run her down. And, I think that sets this movie up great. But the best part about this is the communications that were happening beforehand. They were getting recordings of things being said from an alien planet, and they were already trying to monitor that. And for the first time, I think I've ever known, I don't really know much about these characters. Johnny Storm is actually a smart dude.
He's an astronaut.
Yeah. Well, you don't realize it. And he's been portrayed as a party man, and he still kind of is in this. But he's legitimately smart.
Yeah. I mean, he's a smart guy, and that's where I feel like the previous movies really failed to depict that portion where it's like, oh well, we need younger, cocky, hot head.
That's all I knew him as.
Where it's like that's it. But like to this, like he's nuanced. Obviously, like he's a little, I don't know, thirsty at the beginning, right? Where like he chases after her and hot headed about that. But afterwards, like he becomes obsessed with it. And it's like, oh, and he's when he pulls Sue in, and he's like, this is, I'm going to decipher this language. It's like, oh, this dude's smart. Like, he's not, like, just running around. Like,
he's actually going to use his brain. Yeah.
Right. So I really appreciate that.
and I love this part. Like, so they decide they're going to find Galactus because they've obviously found planets that have been going disappearing. So they find Galactus before he comes to Earth. They track the Silver Surfer's energy signature and use their FTL drive, which they have apparently, which is cool to know that they have something like this, and then reach a new planet where it's being destroyed by Galactus at this point. And they get basically brought onto his ship, and we get like this little minor thing. Like, there's other things going on, but before I get to those, like, Johnny Storm tries to chase her down, and she says something to him, and he's like, "What does that mean?" And she tells him, and then that starts the unraveling of him figuring out how the language works. I thought that was so cool. Yeah. Like, there's other stuff here that happened which was awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I thought that was a really cool thing for that character that I've always seen as just a, party hothead kid, that Playboy, don't take seriously. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, I really agree. Really cool. Like the interaction and the two characters, Silver Surfer and Johnny Storm, I think were the best parts for me in this movie for sure. I thought they were the most interesting. Like, you have obviously Mr. Fantastic, and you have Ben Grimm and the Thing, and they do their stuff. But Johnny and Sue, I think, were the most interesting in my opinion. And then Silver Surfer obviously has that backstory, which we knew something was going to happen there. I mean, these things. And I think that's one of the issues I had with this film was not really surprising. There's not much that was
you knew how it was going to
new or exciting. It was just like, all right, we know that we're going through the paces. We know where it's going to start. We know what the middle. We know what the end is. How are we getting there and all that? And I think that's where maybe it didn't hit for me as much because I wasn't that I was surprised, but I just wasn't. Yeah, I was just like, all right, well, that's how it happened. Okay, we knew we were getting to this point, and this is how we got there.
Right, and I'll back you up to that to a large degree, right? Because the whole threat, it's like, oh, Galactus is coming, and we gotta stop Galactus. Like, look, okay, I'm not even a fan. I know how this always goes down. I know how this goes down, and that's why. And I'll be consistent with my criticism that the part with Galactus is that he's not really a good villain because he's not actually a villain. He's a force of nature. He is a part of the greater cosmic.
Yeah, it's that insatiable hunger.
Right. Yeah. What he does is not out of anger. It's not out of malice. It's not out of violence or a need to conquer. It's just a need to feed. It's no different than us. We have to kill animals, lots of animals to eat.
It's on the grand scale
and stuff like that. It's just on a bigger scale and with sentient beings, right? So for me, it's like Galactus being this, and I get you kind of have to, right? But he's not a good villain. So the whole part where I'm like, there's no way Galactus is winning this one, right? So the whole time I'm like, okay, well, how are they just going to defeat him? They're obviously going to defeat him.
You're breaking up.
Tony, we're losing you a little bit.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's no way Galactus wins, right? I don't know what you're going to say there, but as far as that we know Galactus is going to come and Fantastic Four is going to stop. We know that's going to happen, and how do we get there, and how do we make that interesting? The ways that they did it just didn't hit for me as much, I think. And there were times where it's like you're thinking to yourself, "Oh, is it going to he just say, "Oh, I just want your kid, then we'll leave your planet. Yeah, that's fine."
I mean, he wants Reed and Sue's kid, which future Franklin, for those wondering, who has immense power, cosmic power, and he sees that and he can actually cure his hunger. So he doesn't have to feed on planets.
Pass it on.
Oh, pass it on. That's what it was. Pass it on. He could handle
capable of.
Yeah. So they get the hell out of there essentially because they realize they can't defeat Galactus and run.
This is the coolest sequence in my
This was a great sequence. Getting on the ship, getting out of his ship, and you have the Silver Surfer running them down. Chase. Oh, that chase scene was like Sue goes into labor, and
because Galactus
Johnny's
pushed her into labor somehow.
Pushed her into labor, yeah, unbelievable. And so she goes into labor on the ship. They're trying to jump back. Fly
I do mention though, it's funny. I was like, you're like, Reed's like, you're gonna be the first woman ever to do a pregnant woman to do things in space or whatever. Like, no pregnant woman's ever done something like this. I was like, pregnant people don't usually get this active. And
So, I love the line where she's having to give delivering the baby and she's screaming. She's like, "Johnny, kill her!" When she's when Silver Surfer's trying to run her down. Yeah. She's trying to, take your nephew, and that was really a serious part, and because he was trying not to hurt her there, but he decides he's going to at that point, And yeah, so they have this whole chase sequence, which was a great action sequence in this movie. And what is it? They basically jump out of FTL and realize that they can't make it home with what they have, so they have to use a little slingshot thing. I love the trick to get her, like they basically draw her into a black hole to get away. I thought it was so cool, like tricking her to go into a black hole to get sucked in, and they use that same thing to blast out of there to get back to their planet. It was awesome. Again, it's also the thing. I mean, that Ben had you saw his skills there. Like, you know, that was showing his stuff off right there about how good of a scientist, like an astronaut, how good he was of a pilot. Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah. And then the people were obviously, oh, hey, we won. Yay, Fantastic Four. There's never a doubt.
It's like, we never said that. We never said that.
Yeah, I love when they got back to that conference. Like, so, I forgot what the question was asked.
How did you beat Galactus?
How'd you beat him? Oh, well, we didn't actually beat him. Are we safe? I don't know. Yeah. And then the famous line, the price was too high. He asked for a price, it was too high. And they answered it was his kid. And then the crowd, the only thing I didn't like was how fast the people were like, yo, let's give the kid up. What are you doing here? You know, I was like, that was a fast change for the heroes of the world.
It's not your kid. It's like, that's easy, you know?
That's what I had to explain to them later. I get it. But again, I just feel like the writers.
Same thing, just like in Superman. Where like one thing happens and they're like, fuck the Fantastic Four, fuck Superman. I'm like, what is with these parallels? Like, I don't get it. Like, where these writers are like, yo, just change it up a little bit, right? Like, here's my homework, just change it up a little bit, right? Because that's where I felt. I was like, oh, okay, we're getting these same beats. But what I will say, and again, these parts, I thought were really good, even though they're quieter. It's not actiony stuff. But there's a conversation that Reed has with Sue where he tells her, I hope he's not like me, right? Talking about their kid.
Right. Frank, yeah.
And I was like, damn, like, again, that's deep for a Marvel movie, right? Whereas, like, there's something...
Because he knows
there's something wrong with
wired.
me. Yeah. He's like, I know there's something wrong with me. It's like, that's heartbreaking to have a character that's genius level, right?
Well, she said it too. She, like, his immediate response, like, this whole thing with the kid.
You thought about it. Right?
Yes, you had to think about it. Yeah. He's like, that's how I think. That's how I have to do that because nobody else will.
Right.
Nobody else will do that. It just made me think about, like, I don't know much about the Illuminati that he was a part of, but I feel like that's what they were doing behind the scenes for things. And, like, that's why he fits so well with that. And, like, it gives you more insight to his character. There's so many positives. Like, the cool thing about this movie was, like, you could understand how Sue and him were married. Like, there's some amazing aspects to Reed that, like, you could see why she was in love with him. And then there was the annoying parts, which is part of every relationship, but it's like the darkness and stuff. Like, he's got to think this way, and it's like, it's scary. But it's so I love that little turmoil between them. But it was also a believable relationship. I feel like in the other movies, it was like, why is this guy why are they married? How do they, you don't know.
Right. And the thing I will say is, in the comics, from what I know, again, I'm not an avid reader, but anything I've been exposed to, any universe where Reed exists without Sue, he either becomes evil or inadvertently does bad things because, he overreaches or whatever. And it's like, oh, and then I accidentally blew up. Right. It's like, I accidentally blew up the universe. Sorry, and stuff like that.
There's no inhibitor grounded, really.
Right. There's no and that's where Sue comes in. And I don't think any of the movies really established that. It's been a long time since I've seen them, so I could be wrong. But to my memory, they never explore that because it's like Reed, he can be a very dark, pragmatic. Like, hey, these are the facts. Like, kind of like Thanos, where it's like it's a simple calculus. What's the difference between him and Thanos? Like, just
very close.
One's got a wife.
Very close.
One's a wife guy, and the other's not. So there you go.
Well, one would 100% act on it, whereas Reed seems to have a conscience, and not the conscience. It's like Sue is I understand the math.
Sue's the angel.
Yeah, that's true. He had Sue to talk him around. Yeah,
because he's still that analytical, where it's like the numbers don't lie. We got to think about like the numbers here and what they say. Yeah. But I will like the thing that I liked the most about how they turn it around for the perception and things is when Sue goes out and starts talking to people.
That was
she's like, I'm not willing to sacrifice my kid for this world, but I'm not going to sacrifice this world for my kid. And that I felt like, that was powerful. I like that a lot.
She had a great speech there. Great speech. Yeah.
Yeah, and her
bring the world together.
That was just awesome. It's like, okay, like you said, turn it around, where it's like, look, you know us, right? Because like they seem to be very public figures as superheroes, as opposed to like 616, cinematic universe. So for her to have that speech, I thought that was super powerful and super like just poetic in a way where it's like, oh damn, like we are seeing something new, right, in that aspect. So it's not going to be flashy. Like you're not using that part in a commercial or trailer, really.
Right.
Like, go see the movie. Why? Oh, well, Sue gave a really riveting speech.
Really nice talk to everyone.
But I love that because it's not something we usually see.
No, it's because of this also then she gives her husband the idea of how to defeat Galactus, which is cool. He comes up with the teleportation idea of just, locking him in a basically what they did the Silver Surfer almost initially they far away.
No, initially they want to teleport the Earth.
Oh, that's what it was. They want to move the Earth first. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that. So they wanted to build teleports to move the Earth away. Yeah. So they have that. The world unites with this whole thing, and the bridges start to activate as Galactus gets closer. Then you see the Earth get enveloped, and then the Silver Surfer starts to destroy everything. And then they have to have the conflict that they have. It's a cool idea, and then he obviously adjusts the plan of trapping Galactus in the last portal that's available. Because Johnny Storm prevents her from destroying the last one. He talks her out of it essentially. So basically,
he talked her out of it.
Maybe not.
I think
didn't he bring up her history?
Well, yes,
right there?
He showed up. He spoke to her in her language, which caught her off guard. Enough to show her the translations of those decoded messages that were sent that they received at the beginning of the movie. And that was him finally getting her to understand, hey, like, what's happening there is going to happen here. And you can, you don't have to do this, right? Essentially pleading to her, mortality or whatever you want to call it, her humanity, if she has it.
Yep.
Or whatever her speech.
Because she sacrificed herself to save her world.
She doesn't agree to help them, but she leaves, which is what the thing he did. So then Galactus arrives essentially, and they decide to use Franklin as bait, which is what I was shocked that like Sue would go along with this plan. I was actually shocked, but this is very much a Reed plan. But I guess they had a good plan for this whole thing, almost a good plan. So they decided to use him as bait to lure Galactus to the last bridge and teleport him away. I did like this aspect of Mole Man showing up into the Fantastic Four headquarters.
That was a good
back to building. That was great. He's like, "Where's Sue?" And he just immediately asks because he doesn't like any of them, but Sue's got the presence of everybody likes. She's a great speaker, obviously.
Well,
and
I mean, it's more than that. It's more than that. Apparently, they cut part of her development where there's scenes with her. In that montage where they fought Mole Man, apparently it was Sue, and this is apparently comic lore accurate, or mostly lore accurate, because there's 100 different fucking variants. But she shows empathy towards Mole Man and his people, because it's like, hey, well, I mean, you just want to live too, right? And stuff like that. It's just, you can't really be destroying New York City in the process and whatnot. But apparently they cut that out of the movie, so it felt more jarring, or I guess kind of out of the blue for him to show up and them being on like a kind of like a friendly bit, like it's like, oh, these people talk more than just like, oh, we beat you up.
They know each other pretty well.
Right.
I mean, they still did a better job here than they did with Superman.
I mean, I got the vibe of it pretty quickly with this. That there's a rapport here that they've been dealing with for a while with him, and I like the banter with him. I thought the casting was great. It was the guy from Cobra Kai. I thought he did a great job as Mole Man. So she negotiates with him to allow the people of the city who are going to be destroyed. They realize like if Galactus is coming through, he's going to destroy how much of the city to go to Subterranea and again, stay there to be safe.
Another Superman parallel clearly showing the evacuation of the city. It's like, okay, we got to get these people out of the city because obviously how are you going to fight a kaiju and people aren't going to get hurt, right? That's not like the people in New York City were just standing around and be like, oh, we're going to watch you fight Galactus. I'll, make some popcorn.
I will say there was not much for the Thing to do in this movie because Galactus is obviously way too big for his strength. And I feel like he just got thrown around a bunch of times, really. What else did he really do?
Well, I mean, that's the downside, right, to Galactus, where he's supposed to be powerful, but, like, in terms of a looming threat, but he never is, right? He's a jobber. He's the ultimate Vegeta. It's like, oh no, the androids are showing up, but Vegeta's here. Vegeta's gonna kick their ass, and it's like all of a sudden,
he's the weaker Hulk.
Right.
Yeah.
His job is to job, literally. And you can't do that with like being like, oh well, thing is just gonna hit him really hard, and he fucks off, right? So that's the part where like with Corey's, I'm assuming you lead. It's like it's boring. Like they're not gonna defeat him through brute strength or anything like that.
Well, I feel like even Reed's powers were mellow in this movie. Like Johnny Storm's was great and Sue's were awesome, but I think Reed's and Thing's were like kind of. Reed was just his brain, really. That was really all he was.
There wasn't really that many action sequences.
No, that's why we're almost at the end here. He shows up, and he doesn't get tricked into the portal. He actually steals Franklin, and then Sue steps in and starts pushing him towards the portal, while everybody else gets Franklin away from him. That's basically the plot line. And it's awesome to finally see Sue Storm like with these powers. I didn't know she had these kind of powers. It's pretty amazing. I guess she got souped up for this movie, but it works out great. And I really hope they keep this for this character like this powerful, because I think she's. I thought it was awesome showing like to push Galactus.
I mean, Sue in the original, the Jessica Alba one, she had the same powers.
Yeah, but did she push anybody back like Galactus? I don't think so.
She stops a helicopter.
Yeah, that's true. She did.
At a wedding. I mean, she's not as, I don't think she's as powerful like in that movie, but I don't think we knew how powerful she was is before.
From my understanding, is she's the most powerful of the group most of the time. Where her power set includes like invisibility. It's beyond invisibility. She can make bubble force fields, telekinesis stuff and whatnot. So but it's good that she got to actually like be the powerhouse that's pushing Galactus back, not defeating him necessarily, but getting him into the
position that
he needs to be.
I mean,
Silver
so she's pushing him back. They get Franklin away. Johnny attempts to sacrifice himself. Which then gets not thwarted, but so the Silver Surfer shows up and instead does the sacrifice, pushes Galactus through the portal and closes the portal behind them. So,
which again is like not just one of those things where it's like so obvious. Yeah. It's like just waiting for it to happen. And so I think that's where I was just like, I'm just waiting for these things to happen.
You knew where the story was heading. Yeah,
missing, like I'm not in the moment. It took me out of the moment because I was just waiting. And like a lot of movies do this, right? A lot of movies are like, we know what's going to happen. You can say that about anything. You can say that about most movies. I don't know. This one.
They played it very close to that. They very safe.
It just kept taking me out of the moment because I was like, well, when are we getting to the point where it's doing this? And when are we getting to the point where it's going to do this? And then it does.
And obviously Sue using her power kills her. And then I'm like, I know she's coming back, but we got to see a little Franklin power there where he revives his mother in that sequence, which again was predictable. I give you on that one. I knew that was happening. I knew she wasn't dying, but
we also got spoiled that they're all coming back in Doomsday with those chairs.
We did get that spoil. Yeah,
I mean we do that though on the casting reveal, so it's understandable. But it was a good movie. I can agree, Corey, that it's very predictable by the numbers, whatever you want to say. So, but they needed to have that foundation, right? And I think, at least for me personally, speaking from I never care about Fantastic Four, but after this, I kind of like them. At least this incarnation.
The character, again, they've got to develop the Thing more, but I think every other character we got more personability. Like I can find myself wanting to watch them more than the other movies beforehand of it. That came before this.
So what I was going to follow it up with is I'm excited to see them in Avengers Doomsday. Like I would love to see because that aspect I don't know much about, and I think that is going to be more open. Where like, oh crap, like what are they going to do? How are these characters going to interact with the X-Men? How are these characters going to interact with the new Avengers? Right, that's exciting.
How they interact with it.
So
no, and that's where I think I'm also on board here because I think these guys as a team in their own movie don't work as well as if they were like I think they're just side characters really. And so for me, like they just didn't. What the highlight for me wasn't seeing their movie. It was like seeing the characters and getting them displaying what they're capable of doing, and then being excited for what they're going to be doing in the future. But like a sequel is not something that is exciting to me as much as Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Well, that's what we get. we get the mid-credit scene in this movie with
right.
Sue reading a
couple
book.
Of years.
Yeah, a couple
like
years.
4 years.
4 years later.
Always gotta be
4 years
4.
later.
Yep, 4.
Sue's reading Franklin a book at home. Goes to get a different book. When she comes back, he's interacting with a man who has a green cloak, and you see the Mask of Doom, who I found out in that scene is actually Robert Downey Jr. in that scene. Which I don't know why, but apparently he was. You could have put anybody in that scene; it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, it was fine.
He is actually in the scene.
I just wish he had said something at least to start the groundwork. Like, if you don't know, if you're not dialed into this like we are, or a lot of the dialed in hardcore people, like it's like, okay, dude in the green cloak,
who's that?
Or hood, like,
who's that?
Mean, right? It's not like Avengers 1, right, where it's like Thanos getting off and being like, fine, I'll do it myself. Like that, it's like, oh, okay, the actual big bad villain's getting involved now. This is just like, all right.
But if you're not following the news, if you're not following Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom, like if you're watching this movie and it ends with him turning around, you're like, holy shit, what the hell's going on? That gets you hooked for what's going on in the future of Marvel. I feel like I agree with you.
Especially if you had him there and you didn't have to like superimpose or anything. If you had him there, then
I don't know why they did it and didn't have him shown. Like I don't get that at all. I think that was a bad decision.
Yeah,
and
especially knowing the relationship that he has with Sue in the future.
Yeah. Hold on. What I want to rewind a couple of minutes. I will say the last part of the actual movie, I thought really just exemplified the good things about this. Was when they're about to be on that talk show, right? And the one dude's like being like, oh, and then all of a sudden their fantastic alarm or whatever the fuck it's called goes off, and they're rushing off. And all the guys are trying to figure out, astronaut dudes, a genius, at least one genius level dude, trying to figure out how to do the car seat. And Sue's just like holding the baby, and like they're like, do this, and then it's like takes them a couple minutes.
Click.
I thought that was like a great like fun, whimsical
rocket scientist, right? Like can't clip. Yeah,
exactly. Can't put together a car seat.
Yep. So it was a cool thing. Then we had the final post credits, which was like the animated show.
Yeah,
a little clip of that stuff, retro throwback, which was great. And but yeah, so that's the movie overall. Breaking it down, what do you guys think? Like, Tony, what do you think overall? Like, where are you at with the score? What are you thinking?
I mean, it's a good one of, in my opinion. Like, I don't know if I'd ever rewatch the whole thing again because, I'd probably just go to the scenes I like. But for an independent thing out of no tie-ins with the other stuff, I really liked it. I'd probably go with an 8.
Yeah, I mean that's for me. Like, again, throughout this conversation, I talked about how much this attached me more to the characters I've never been attached to before, and understanding more about them that I never knew about them before, which is unbelievable because we've had 3 other movies in this in Fantastic Four. So to learn new things now about it is awesome. Even in the cartoons, they've never portrayed some of these characters like this. I've watched the cartoon. I'm not a huge fan of the cartoon, but I did watch it when I was younger. So for me, this was a great film, and overall, because I gave Superman an 8, I give this an 8.5 because I feel like this was a better cohesive movie. Yeah. They're very close. You're splitting hairs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But I feel like just that intro by itself, the 10 minutes in that movie, the beginning of this movie, made this movie a lot more understandable and a lot easier to jump into something that's brand new. And so I like that part of it. Corey, what'd you think?
Yeah, no, I'm the lowest again.
Go ahead, hate it.
No, I'm not hating on it. I like I said in the movie cast we talked about briefly. I gave Superman a 6.5. So this one's better. I'd give it a 7 if we want to give it a score. But for me, the characters were more interesting than what was going on screen. I liked the characters. There were definitely really highlight moments for them and getting to know who they are. They did a much better job here in this movie, giving you context to who these people are, and then showing off what they're skilled at and what reasons they are together as a team. The family thing was good. Just really the story didn't really do anything for me.
Basic.
I think that
we've seen
it's the Galactic. It's the Galactus villain. That was
so
really
it just that brought it down for me. But I am excited to see what they do with these characters in the future because I think that's Doomsday will be really cool to see them interact. And because they have their own personalities. I think they're gonna fit well into this universe, into the other movies.
Yeah, And we said we didn't get much from the Thing. We did get some of his, loneliness kind of things he always has. Yeah,
it was weird. Like you had growing a beard, a rock beard.
What was the beard thing? I didn't like that aspect.
I thought that was
funny.
He's like,
I didn't like that,
but yeah, no, that's always happens though. He's always that. It's the same thing, He's that like, oh man, my humanity's gone, like that. I mean, how do you do that all over and over again?
You can't.
I think because we also had 3 other movies here, it was just
they were able to just brush past.
It wasn't as but
they could focus on the other characters, which is good.
Yeah,
because we
the Silver Surfer I think was great. I love the Silver Surfer from the previous one. I thought they did a good job there, but I think this one they did an even better job here of having that
feel for them.
That herald and what that means and how it's a threat when the Silver Surfer shows up and showing off the powers and capabilities of the character.
I will say, just to reference the earlier chase escape sequence, I loved how they actually filmed her using the surfboard like an actual surfer. Like she was surfing the stars, which was so cool. Like that is a sequence I would watch again. Like if I ever watch it or whatever, I would love to watch it.
When she was chasing.
No, she was definitely the most interesting character and visually cool character as well.
Because the other initiatives just shows like zooming, like it's like a flying disc, right? It's like,
I love that little joke. Is the surfboard attached?
Yeah, it's a part of you or whatever.
No, she's cool, and I'm excited to see what she does in the future.
Yeah, we'll obviously we'll see Galactus and the Silver Surfer return at some point in the future.
Yeah, Secret Wars, definitely in Secret Wars.
Yeah, Secret Wars is probably going to come back, but yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested and excited to see what comes in Doomsday with these characters. But then even what a Fantastic Four 2 would be, or Second Steps, or whatever.
What would they do with that movie? Yeah,
right, because like that's like okay, right. You did the Galactus thing, you got it out of the way, right? Now what's next, right? Fight a villain that I don't know, right? And I'll be interested, right? Like any of those montage villains, right? It's like okay, or fight somebody that you haven't fought in the comics. Fight them in the movieverse. Then be like, oh shit, okay, that's interesting.
Because we don't know what's happening to the universe, right? So they may fold things together, and we might all new encounters. Yeah.
Right. And I guess the other thing was that the end of the after credit sequence in the New Avengers, the Thunderbolts, that wasn't something that was the Fantastic Four people were aware of.
They didn't know about it. No.
Yeah. And so like that may not even be the Fantastic Four is the theory that's
could be Doom.
They're not on that ship. Could be Doom with Franklin.
Oh, that could be Doom running from them with Franklin. Oh.
Well, just
interesting.
Yeah. Who knows?
Are they gonna do like a House of M with Franklin, with Doomsday, with Doom? Is that what we're getting? Or did they just like change everything with him?
They already did the House of M.
But he takes the kid. Doomsday. Maybe I solved it. Like he's gonna take the kid to that universe with the ship, and he's going to manipulate the kid to do things he wants to do. Isn't that House of M essentially? With Magneto and Wanda?
We'll see. I mean, the comics, it gets messy because, spoiler alert, if you really care about this stuff outside of the movie, there's a spoiler for comic continuity. Franklin is a mutant. So he has strong ties to the X-Men, where the X-Men constantly are like, Franklin, you're special, you're a mutant. Like, if you ever need help, if you ever need to be part of something else, if you ever need to get away from family, the X-Men are here for you. And that actually goes against the odds with Sue and Reed a lot of the time. Like, X-Men and Fantastic Four have fought a couple different times already about that very nature, where it's like, bro, like, you gotta let your son be a mutant, right? You're trying to cure him, and there is no cure for being a mutant. Like, that's so it'll be interesting. Again, that's the future where I'm really interested to see, because not only do you have that with the X-Men and Fantastic Four, but also Fantastic Four historically has a lot of ties to Spider-Man, so that's certainly down the road too. So
the space stuff with X-Men, the space got cut out when you're talking.
I thought you said Spider-Man.
Oh, I thought you said Spider-Man. I didn't hear Spider-Man. Oh,
yeah, I got you.
I thought you said space.
It cut out, but I read what you were saying.
Because there's like a lot of cosmic stuff with X-Men too.
Yeah, there is. But all right, I think that's gonna wrap up this bonus round episode, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Great movie. Go check it out in the theaters. Not many people. It dropped off pretty bad, so go check it out. This is one of those movies.
That's the thing.
Like Thunderbolts
is that the Marvel is gonna look at like how like Love and Thunder and Doctor Strange
successfuls
and whatever it is, like, wow, we made so much money off of those, and then we made good movies like Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, and they're gonna be like, let's go back to the low brow kind of stuff, right? Because like I thought Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four had a lot of nuance and more depth than the average superhero movie did. So
yeah,
that doesn't.
I think you're right. There were a lot more moments in this movie, like personal moments. You're like, wow, like you said, those speeches and the Reed's reactions and stuff. All right, I think it's gonna wrap it up, folks. So thanks for tuning in once again. Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock, we do our normal podcast. This is a bonus round. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. That way you get notified when we post and we go. And on Twitch, when we go live, you can subscribe over there. We'll see you guys in the other episodes. We are out.